Geekazine and Geek Smack is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network over at techpodcast.com. If it's tech, then it's here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are on episode number 224, Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like Yahoo smacks out CEOs. Yes, we're going to talk about the CEO situation over at Yahoo, plus we're also going to talk about Facebook shares, we're going to talk about Etsy getting trolled, we're going to talk about Legos and dominoes and infographics, all galore. And we're going to do that right now on Geek Smack, episode number 224, coming now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the show that we call Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like Diablo 3 gets smacked out during the weekend. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to start by saying it's not going to be a very painless show for me. On Thursday, I was helping a friend out. I was moving couches left and right. I felt like the Incredible Hulk from the Avengers. Roar. And then all of a sudden it happened. And it wasn't about lifting. It was about bending over to pick up a tissue. I picked up the tissue and I heard in my lower back. And then all of a sudden I got up and it's like, oh, yeah, that's going to hurt. And then as the night progressed, it got worse and worse and worse. And next thing you know, I was totally old. I looked like this. Master. Hey, would you like... Anyway, if you're watching the video, you see what I'm talking about. But... if you're listening to the audio, then you can only imagine me Hunchback of Notre Dame-ish. Master. Yeah, so for the weekend, I was kind of like an armadillo on the side of a road, upside down, wondering how to get on its feet again. It was fun. Every time I laid down on the floor to kind of get 30 minutes of back time, it was another 20 minutes to get back up. But, get some fun little pills to take care of me. And so I'm not 100% better. In fact, my knees are kind of bent a little bit to keep my back from going like this. And I might lean on my table a little bit more than usual. So I do apologize if that happens. But if you've had a bad back, if you've ever had this problem before, you know what I'm going through. And hopefully by this weekend, because the band plays this weekend, it'll be a lot better, which I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I woke up this morning and I didn't feel like I was hurting getting out of bed. So good on that. I'm really happy about that. All right, last week I was in Houston, Texas. We covered a big HP event, the HP Tech Day. Had a lot of fun. The videos are up on HP's website. I'll get you the link in the show notes, of course. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you very much for watching my bad back antics. I'm getting old. Help me, I'm getting old. Old, I say. Anyway, thanks for coming to this show. Of course, you can go over to Geekazine.com and subscribe to the show notes, and it'll come to your inbox every single week on Wednesday. It's a Tuesday show, recording for Wednesday consumption, however you want to take it. But it's a lot of fun, so hopefully you'll have a lot of fun, and you'll move on from there. Tell your friends' friends, tell your friend's dog. It's Geek Smack by Geekazine. All right. One more thing before we get into the tech news. I have officially been announced with my official role at Blog World and New Media Expo. I am the podcast editor at large. Large beard, a large face, large body, I don't know. But I am the podcast editor at large. And from now on, when I'm the podcast editor at large, I think I will talk with this British accent. Maybe not. Okay. So yes, I did take on a role as editor-at-large at Blog World New Media Expo, June 5th through the 7th. It's coming up very, very soon. And of course, we've got, there's two a year, and the next one is January 6th through the 8th in Las Vegas, baby, right before the CES. Now, I'm French. I don't get this. This is weird. So anyway, you want to check it out. I'll link to the video for the first Blog World video that we're doing. We're calling it Blog World TV. That's it. Blog World TV, and of course, if you want to be part of that, I'll watch the video and you'll find out how to do that. So, right now, let's get into your tech news.
Tech smack.
Of course, your tech news is brought to you by our friends over at Telestream and Wirecast. There we are. Produce live webcasts like I'm doing, like I did last week with the HP videos. Of course, I'm doing this week with Geek, Smack, and some of my other stuff, where I can actually just use a switcher. I use the machine on the right of, or my left, your stage right, my Mac, which is doing all the recording right now. This machine has actually pulled up all the web pages that I'm going to be talking about. It's a great way for you to get all those lower thirds, like this one down here, special graphics like the TechSmack graphic or whatever. Get all that done and make it look a little bit more professional. How do you go do that? Well, go over to geekazine.com/WirecastPC for the PC version, or geekazine.com/WirecastMac for the Mac version, and get yourself some great software in Wirestream. And of course, be as professional as me. Ha 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 ha. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start over at the LA Times. Facebook on Friday is going to be announcing their IPO, their initial public offering. And you might not want to, I don't know, I think it's like $30, $40 is the estimated. It's going to shoot all the way up and then it's going to shoot down. It's usually what happens. But let's say you just want one share of stock, kind of like Packers share of stock. You know, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you have one share of stock. I want one share of Facebook stock. That is why I would want to go here. LA Times shows you 3 sites, and the 3 sites are Give a Share, One Share, and Frame a Stock. All 3 of those websites will give you the opportunity to buy shares in Facebook, which is pretty cool. So you can then be a shareholder of Facebook. Even if it's one share out of 1 million shares, you never know. If that one share starts at $40 and goes up to $4,000, yeah, it'd be cool. You know, sell a $4,000 share, yeah, $4,000. Of course, the share also works with dividends and splits, so your stock could split into 2, and that 2 could split into 4, and that 4 could split into 8, and that 8 could split into 16, and next thing I know, I sound like a Schoolhouse Rock episode. Anyway, if you want to check out more on that, go over to LATimes.com for that. Let's move over there. Digital Trends is showing off the Lenovo X line. I think it's the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. I'm going to put you in carbon. Anyway, this is it right here. It's an Ultrabook. It is nice and thin. It's probably the size. It's about 3.73 pounds is the weight. It's got a carbon fiber roll cage to help protect the laptop while it's keeping its weight of 3.73 pounds. Pretty cool, huh? And I don't know if they have a price on that. Let's see. It features larger screens. It's announced a broad update of other ThinkPads in the L, T, W, and X laptops because they have different brands, different series of laptops. So don't see a price on this just yet. But if you go over to Lenovo's website, you could probably find out. We got the link over at digitaltrends.com. Every time I switch over to the web page, I'm doing this, by the way. I'm massaging my back. Oh, that feels so good. Anyway, let's move on. Going to bbc.co.uk. Nokia accuses Siri of Siri bias. What? Oh. Nokia, apparently, when you ask Siri who's the best smartphone of them all, Siri would answer Nokia Lumina, I think Lumina 900. And Apple saw that as a big problem, so they changed their algorithm a little bit, and now it says, well, Apple, of course. Now Nokia is accusing Apple of overriding the software and putting out false information. I don't know. Is the Lumina 900 better than the iPhone? You tell me. Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine and let me know, what do you think of the Nokia 900? Is it better than sliced bread or better than Siri? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the best smartphone of them all? Check it out over at bbc.co.uk. Moving over from here, itnews.com.au, talking, Steve Wozniak, founder of Apple. I actually interviewed him right here. That's me. That's Steve Wozniak. That's me. That's Steve Wozniak. That picture right there, if you ever wondered. It's my coup de grace. It's my big moment in time. Co-founder of Apple. Anyway, Steve Wozniak, he's voiced his opinion on open sourcing parts of Apple before. He's basically reinforcing it right now. He wants to see the consumer electronic giant open the architecture. So we can find the next, I suppose, the next Steve Jobs. We can get people more into Apple, and maybe even see companies like SciStar, which failed in the past, become exorbitant. I'd love to actually put an Apple product on this machine right here. That would be awesome. I don't know if that's where he's going with this, but it'd be kind of cool to have even if a virtual Apple assistant on here. That would be awesome. But the reality is, if they've got good share and they've got good market share, but until they start putting themselves into a PC, a lot of people aren't going to take them seriously, especially because they spent all their time in Windows land. They spent all their time on PCs to pay for something that's 4 to 5 times more than what I could pay for one of these. I would pay for one of these before I'd pay for one of these. If I had 5 employees, I'd get 5 laptops before I'd get one of these. They want one of these, and buy it themselves. That's the way I see it. Anyway, check that out. It's over at itnews.com.au. All right. I'm not a big fan of patent trolls. And in fact, a couple weeks ago, Mark Cuban said it perfectly. There was a guy on Shark Tank that came in and he had a patent. And I think I talked about this on the last episode. He had a patent where he could actually put wires through clothing. And it was a pending patent. It wasn't a full patent. Now, somebody like that is technically, a lot of people think of that person as what's called a patent troll. I've put a patent on something so mundane, so should be common knowledge type thing, that I am going to make a penny off of you, whatever you decide to do. And Mark Cuban said it's patent trolls like you that just completely ruin the industry. And I agree. And this person is the same way. Etsy, which is an online marketplace, ETSY, which I haven't really gone into too much because there's a lot of social networks and online marketplaces out there. What do you follow? What do you follow? What do you follow? Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Anyway, they got hit with 5 patent infringements, mostly for methods of storing, delivering, and managing messages. Was the main one. It's U.S. patent 6,857,074. If you want to look it up, of course, we got that in the show notes. You can click to the link and you'll see the patent number. But they're asking for triple the damages, and they're asking for permanent injunction and profits for Etsy.com for simple methods of storing, delivering, and managing messages, which and a couple others, of course. So. But it really hurts when, not in my back, but really hurts when you start an idea, you start a business. And this is the one thing I talk about with Kickstarter all the time. They can create Kickstarter after Kickstarter after Kickstarter, but if they're ignoring the patent laws, then this Kickstarter is not going to be around too much longer. TikTok might not be around if somebody had a patent on putting a pin in between the watch casing and the leather strap to hold the watch together, for example. So patent trolls bad, but they're around, and now Etsy might have to pay the price. If you want to read more about this is over on Gigaom.com. Of course, we have that into the shoe notes. So, all right, who's the most satisfied wireless customers out there? Well, if you thought it was Verizon, you're wrong. If you thought it was T-Mobile, you're wrong. If you thought it was AT&T, holy Moses, what planet are you on? No, according to PC Mag, the article written on PC Mag, from a new survey, they say that Sprint narrowly beats out all the rivals. Apple topped the American Customer Satisfaction Index as the most popular cell phone maker, but apparently on a scale of 0 to 100, Sprint received a score of 71, which was down 1% from last year, but it's a lot better than it used to be. Let's just put it that way. So Sprint is doing really good for wireless customers. They're more satisfied with their service. That's good news for Sprint, but they still have the rest of their business to kind of fix and figure out what the heck they're doing wrong. I don't want to be on AT&T, but I am on AT&T. Why am I on AT&T? Because I know AT&T is solid. A lot of people say that they have problems with their AT&T devices. I don't. Yeah, there's points where you're going to have bad spots in your cellular service. That's going to be the same thing with Verizon. It's going to be the same thing with T-Mobile. That's going to be the same thing with Sprint. There's no changing that. And once you get into a saturated area where you have 50,000 people using 3G, your 3G experience, your 4G experience is not going to be that great. And if they have enough towers to cover it, well, it might be better. But you still have to worry, who's standing next to me using my 3G or 4G? Things to think about. It's just like if you have a home internet connection, you have 5 people downloading movies. It's going to take a lot longer to download your movie because 4 other people are doing the same thing. So check it out. Go over to PCMag.com. It might change your mind. Were you thinking of switching over to Sprint? Let me know. Geekazine is my Twitter, geekazine at gmail.com. I still have a 3GS, and I've been seriously thinking about doing something cool before the new, I'm calling iPhone 6 comes out, because it's the 6th generation iPhone. A lot of people don't realize that this is the 6th generation, so it wouldn't be called an iPhone 5. It would be called iPhone 6, but most likely Tim Cook will just call it iPhone. So the 6th generation iPhone, apparently coming out September, October, somewhere around there. I'm going to get that, but I want to do something before that. And I got an idea, and hopefully I'll find the way to do it, but I'll keep you apprised if I decide to do that. So anyway, otherwise I'll wait. Let's move on. Let's go over to Mashable.com. Apple releases flashback fix for OS X Leopard. Of course, if you're running Leopard, you can't go up to Snow Leopard or Lion. You have that flashback problem, which was the main virus, whatever you want to call it, that was plaguing certain Apple MacBooks, MacBook Pros, Mac Minis, so on and so forth. So the update removes the most common variants of flashback malware. If it's found, a dialog will notify you that the malware was removed. So that's pretty cool. So if you are a Leopard user, update, get the flashback fix in there, and go from there. See if you can get up into Lion. I mean, it's only a $30 upgrade. Anyway, check that out, Mashable.com. All right, that brings us to the end of the tech news. Yes, my back still feels like Swiss cheese. Oh, there we go. And we're going to get you into the Geek Smack, and we're going to do it right after this.
Geek Smack!
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the show, and we are brought to you this part by Roku. Go over to Roku. Stop Dreaming, start streaming, by the way. Go over to Roku.com, geekazine.com/Roku to get yourself an over-the-top television device. You can get an HD, XD, or XS. $99 model gives you the Angry Birds and all that other cool stuff. And of course, you can stream. You can get your Netflix. You can get your Amazon. You can get your Hulu. You can get Tech Podcast Network. You can get the Blueberry Network. You can get a whole bunch of shows, whole bunch of channels. Learn how to cut your cord, because it's going to be a lot easier when you have a bunch of content to fill your time up with. So that's a great way to cut your cable, is to get a box like a Roku. Like I said, prices start as little as, well, their lowest price is $50. So you can get yourself an over-the-top television device for $50. And you can check it out over at Roku.com. Of course, go over to Geekazine.com/Roku for all that information. And, of course, you support Geek Smack, Geekazine and Geek Smack. All right, let's get into your Geek Smack session. I'm going to bend over a little bit. Sorry. PCMag.com. Diablo 3 is now out. And they did a nice little article, 40 Minutes with Blizzard's Action RPG, where they're taking a look at the famous multi-role-playing game. I remember playing Diablo 2, and I'm not big into games myself. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of time out, but I did get sucked into Diablo and Diablo 2 for a long time. So now Diablo 3 is out. I don't know if I'm going to get into Diablo 3. I just don't know if I'll have the time to do it. But I'm contemplating it, and I'll let you know. Of course, you'll see me online doing some Diablo 3 if I decide to do that. But if you're a geek, check it out. It's over at PCMag.com. I noticed that this main camera went out of focus a little bit. Well, that's kind of interesting. Wonder when that happened. Of course, you can see this over here better than you can see my face. Kind of weird. Well, we'll fix that for next week. How's that? All right, check this out. It's the world's top Lego constructions. This is over on NewYorkDailyNews.com. And basically, what it is well, over in Seoul, they built this tower of Legos. As you can see, it's being supported by wires and stuff like that. On the left is Legoland. Let's see, Sitting Bull in Legoland Billund, and that's Denmark. Oh, that's Denmark's Crown Prince Frederick II putting on the Lego bricks in Seoul for the Lego Tower. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool things that you can do with Lego. You don't even have to build something. You don't have to be totally creative like a sitting bull. You can just make a tower and make it the largest tower in the world. Put it next to the Sears Tower and see what happens. Put it next to the Empire State Building and see what happens. I think you need a couple patents, or not patents, but you need to talk to the city and get a few little deeds and stuff like that before you go. Deeds. What am I saying? I can't think. Wow. I'm getting old. Anyway, let's move on from there. NewYorkDailyNews.com. I can just blame everything on my back for any problems I have. Can't remember. I'm getting old and my back is hurting. Let's go over to the MarySue.com. Hello, Mary Sue. Goodbye, heart, sweet Mary Sue. I'm so how do you date a geek? I'm a geek. How do you date me? I've already got a girlfriend, but how do you date me? Well, maybe you should check this out. If you are planning to date a person that is a geek, you want to understand how they are. Now, the real question is, what are because the first thing I would say is, what kind of geek are they? What kind of geek are they before anything? Because, a geek means it could be a geek of surgical equipment. It could be a geek of, of making these little LED signs behind me. It could be a geek of technology. It could be a geek of pictures. It could be a geek of the Black Knight or Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That's a geek. So, what are you geek of? What geeks you out the most? Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine.com. But of course, check this out. It's at themarysue.com. All right. Really cool. If you haven't seen this, I'm one of the backers. I am one of these backers. I said 3 weeks ago, if they made a case for your iPad to turn it into an Etch-a-Sketch, I would be all over that. 258 backers. One of them is me. 17,000 pledging of a $75,000 goal. 24 days to go. So you better start putting in money. They got a $45 backing. They've got I did the next level backing where it gives you a red or blue Etch-a-Sketch, and I think I just got red because Etch-a-Sketch is in red. $75 or more, you get a special edition, which is a special color. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about with these patents and stuff like that. Etch-a-Sketch is made by Ohio Art. The group that is doing Etch-a-Sketch, and I'm trying to get the names, Ari Krupnik, Martin Dinger, Alex Gutierrez, and Lee Fellenstein, they actually went to the Etch-a-Sketch people and said, hey, we want you to license this, Ohio Art. We want you to license this so we can make it. And they said, okay, you got an idea. And they had, if you look through the video, you see they had some bad ideas and they threw them away, and then they finally came up with this one. So pretty cool stuff. They showed it off in the Toy Fair in February of 2012, I believe. The license signing ceremony was in February of 2012. So they're totally licensed to make an Etch-a-Sketch for iPad. So that's why I decided to back this project, because I saw that there was backing and they've got the proper licensing and they can go forward with this. This is a Kickstarter you might want to take a look at. Once again, I've got the link into the show notes. All right. Let's move on from here before my back gives out. Here's an infographic over on allfacebook.com. 59.5% of new news comes from social media and Facebook. Let's go down here. We'll take a look really quickly at the infographic, saying over 50% of people have learned about breaking news in social media rather than official news sources. Now, it makes perfect sense. In fact, I talked about it a week ago when in tech history, Bin Laden, I think it was May 5th, Bin Laden was killed, and The Twitterverse knew about it like 2 hours beforehand, and they were twittering it way before President Obama could actually say Bin Laden's dead. So that's kind of cool. But this is a pretty cool infographic. It talks about how people get their news, and it's saying 59.5 of 59.5% of all the social media, Facebook is the first place you get the news. Second is other, which is at 42.8%, which is just a conglomerate of a whole bunch of other sources. But the next viable source is Twitter, which is 19.9%. And Google Plus is only 11.6%. So Google Plus, you better knock up those numbers, because I don't know, that's not good. A lot of people are proponents to Google Plus. I'm one of them. But if you can't get to the information, then a lot of people won't go to that information. They won't go to Google Plus. Different story, different time. Let's move on, because my back is hurting. Let's go over to Geekazine.com. You want to see thousands of dominoes fall at once? These are 1,000-piece domino walls, 60 rows of them. Each layer has 1,000 dominoes in them. And basically what they did was he knocked them over. He built it up and he knocked it over. If we go down a little bit, you can actually see the video of the guy building. We'll do a quick couple seconds of this video. There he is building the wall. And he's building the wall. And then at one point, he just takes the wall down. There's the wall completed, and there he pushes, and there it goes. So that's pretty cool stuff. Patience, determination, and everything goes into this video. So check it out. It's over at geekaloogie.com. Of course, I'll have that in the show notes. All right, last geek thing before we get into your main topic of CEOs. Light power bionic eyes. There is now a device. Let's see. It's Professor Robert McLaren of Oxford Eye Hospital shows a bionic eye implant and how it works. And if you look at it, it just looks like a little friendship bracelet if you look at it from here. But apparently that hooks up, and from your eye, it's a little lens cap cover that hooks up to, I don't know where it's hooking up from your eye to your brain. It's not the best thing, but it actually gives a little bit of sight to the eye. And of course, as they go, researchers will make it better and bigger and stronger, and they can build it. They've got the technology. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like that? Do you have any type of vision impairment? Are you really excited to actually see something like this? Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com. Whew. Oh, we're getting to where are we now? We're at the 28-minute mark, so let's get going. We're going to get you into the main topic and get you out of here. But first, the main topic is brought to you by Stitcher. Go over to Stitcher.com and get yourself, you could download this great software. Of course, GeekSmack comes in audio and video format. And in the audio format, you can get it over at Stitcher Internet Radio, Stitcher.com. And you download the application for your Android, for your iOS, for your web OS, for your BlackBerry. I don't know if they have a Windows 7 version yet. I haven't heard any news about that. And of course, with the social networking they now have, where you can hook it up to your Facebook, you can let everybody know what you're listening to, when you're listening to it, so on and so forth. You can win yourself $100 by entering in your email address and download the software. They do a drawing at the end of every month, so check it out. Download the software, and of course, good luck in winning yourself $100. All right. So, Yahoo is looking. Sorry for that squeak, by the way. I'm leaning now, and I got a little squeak in the desk here. So Yahoo's looking for another CEO. It's another disappointment for the online search giant, as they hold on to their former glory. I don't know why anybody would want to hold on to that. Scott Thompson's stepping down because of questions about his resume. But he also is stepping down because he threw a bombshell on them, too. So this asks the question, who doesn't fudge on their resume to get a better job? I know I've padded my resume a bit to show some experience. So instead of saying I've got 3 months worth of this type of software, I actually can change it to a year. But a CEO position is a little bit different than an IT job, I suppose. Still, if he was doing the job, who really cares? That brings us to the question, did Scott Thompson do the job? It looked like to me he was on the right direction. He had a lot of people that were saying he wasn't on the right direction. But then again, they also said that not Meg Whitman, but Carol Bartz was not in the right, doing the right thing. And Jerry Yang definitely wasn't doing the right thing. I'm not behind the scenes, so I really don't know what happened. But I do know that from what I saw in the forefront, I saw some promise in Yahoo. That was me. Now, as Thompson stepped down, he brought a bombshell with him. He said he had cancer, thyroid cancer to be exact. How do we know that he's really telling the truth to this? Is he just using this as an excuse to step down, or does he really have thyroid cancer? I'm not really questioning that. I'm just, posing a hypothetical right now. I'm not saying that he's lying. It's just, if he padded his resume, why doesn't he say something about stepping down and put a little white lie into that too? What's going to happen with Yahoo? Now, this is the biggest question. What's going to happen with Yahoo at this point? Now, we've seen in past technology go through CEOs like I go through socks. Even Apple had its day where we went from from Steve Jobs to Gil Amelio to, I can't remember the names offhand, but going back to Steve Jobs. There was that small time where they went through CEOs and then somebody stepped back in. Hopefully Jerry Yang doesn't think, I'll be able to step back in and everything will be perfect and I'll be the next Apple. I don't think that's going to happen. But Yahoo definitely needs a CEO that can do something. And right now they're not doing anything. And that's going to be sad. If we lose Yahoo, what's going to happen next? What do you think? What is going to happen next? Twitter me at Geekazine. Put it right here. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. You can always email me there. And of course, the hotline is 608-205-4378. It's gotten a little bit blurry. I do apologize. It must be the focus is right here as opposed to right here. I should put it on autofocus so it doesn't do that. But anyway, we will be back next week with another episode. Hopefully my back will be a lot better than it is right now. But right now I'm going to go take some pills and relax a little bit. So let me know what you think. Twitter me at Geekazine. And of course, we'll see you next week on Geek Smack. Until then, you guys geek out, and we'll see you then. Take care.